What is good, YouTube? This is the first ever video on the JNAM's channel. Without further ado, let's get to our first ever what if with deku as Pico. At the beginning of our story, we get the birth of a child. This child had something different than most actual children. The child was born with my eyes. Now, this is obviously our main character, Izuku Midoriya, or in this case will be named something else. The doctors take the child, they examine it to see why its eyes are white. Eventually, they just chalk it up to the somewhere in the genes. It must have collided with either messed up or collided with some different ones to change it, because the baby is able to see just fine. Eventually, they ask Inko what does she want to name the baby. She decides to name it after its grandfather. This nigga just moved from my fucking window and scared the shit out of me. She decides to name it after its grandfather, Pico Midoriya. No, let's time skip. Things go the same with, Pico. I'm going to be calling him Pico and Deku out this entire story. With Pico and Deku, Pico becoming friends with Bakugo and basically becoming one of his goons. We're being completely honest. Time skip to when he's like 4 and 5. Bakugo gets his quirk. Everyone's gassing him up, hyping him up. Telling me he's the best. Oh, your quirk is so cool. You're the best. You could be a great hero. And it gets to his head. But for Pico, this makes him excited to find out what his quirk is. So after that day, he goes home, talks to his mother. Eventually, they decide to take him to the quirk doctor to get his quirk examined or diagnosed. I don't know what the hell they call it. Now, unlike in actual canon, Pico has a quirk. It's called Arsenal. The ability to take weapons out of a whole pocket dimension. You can imagine it. You dig into a hole. Don't question how this works, and you can magically just pull it out. Now Pico is hype because this is cool. Because since he's still a kid, his first thoughts isn't guns, bullets, knives, bazooka, missiles. His first thought is like cool swords, big gloves to make him basically what he thinks he's getting. It's like something that just makes him any weapon that can make him anything. When really, it's just things like guns, swords, bullets. The older he gets, the more he uses it, the more he trains it, the more he'll be able to change up the weapons he summons, do certain things. Since he's still a kid, let's say at most probably be able to make a dull knife. Now after he uses it a lot of times, trains it up, by the time he's 6, he's able to make it an actual sharp knife that actually stabs someone. Time skip to the next day of school. Everyone's around surrounding Pico, asking, "What's your quirk? What's your quirk?" Oh, come on, tell us. And he says, the doctor said it was something called Arsenal. He could make weapons. Everyone thought it was cool, but Bakugo thought it couldn't be better than his, which he did say. Eventually, Pico just decided to say, "You wanna bet?" Which led to a little bit of argument between the two. Some words talking about the other's mom, they're still kids. That's the things you would insult a person with as a kid. But this did like establish a little bit of a rivalry. At the end of the day, they'd still be friends. But they have like a little bit of a beef. Like Naruto and Sasuke, for being real with you. They hate each other, but they're cool with each other. So time skip to middle school, cause I'm lazy. By now, Bakugo has trained his quirk. He's gotten to like training / fights with Pico, so making both of their quirks stronger. Like they're probably they're the strongest in their school. How much they use their quirks, how much they train it. And even without their quirks, they train their body a lot too. So even if they didn't have a quirk, they could still kick ass. It's the first day of 7th grade for them, or whatever they call it in Japan. And a little bit of an accident happens. This one girl that nobody ever really paid much attention to, called Cassandra. She's a transfer student from the States. Starts getting up, doing something about the teacher's lesson, goth music, and how society basically sucks. It leads to a massive shootout. Well, less of a shootout, but more of a school shooting. Sorry if anybody gets triggered from that. Should probably put like a trigger warning at the beginning. If you played the original Pico School, then you know what's gonna happen. If you don't, I learned them just looking up a walkthrough of it. Basically, that happens except Bakugo's there, and Bakugo is also helping the protagonist Pico, get things done. So time skip to after all those events happen, because I'm just probably gonna go like 10-25 minutes at most, or just until I'm bored. So time skip to after that's done. They're currently being comforted by the police because they just had to murder people, survive a school shooting, their friend dead. Yeah. Eventually, they're allowed to, not have to go to school. Well, 7th grade, they could just be home, taught by a special tutor. And that's happening. Well, they just go train. Now, something I must say, because I didn't say it earlier, is that our boy Pico's personality will be basically like Bakugo to an extent, being able to be cocky and arrogant. But most of the times, just chill and pretty much a dick. So time skip to around 8th grade. They've basically like sort of recovered since the accident. They're allowed to go back to school, and that happens. Things go normal in 8th grade. They became popular. They stayed at the top of grades and physical education. Technically that's still great, but fuck you. Time to the last day. The teacher does this whole speech about they should pick their careers wisely. Besides, and now y'all want to be heroes. Those papers up in the airs. Everybody's going crazy, letting off their quirks, and eventually Bakugo does a speech about how he's gonna be the only one in UA. Except this time he actually includes Pico. So that's about it. Time skip to at the end of the day, Pico and Bakugo go their own ways because Pico has to get home, take a shortcut, get there faster. Henceforth, the slime feeling what sludge or what his name is incident happens. He's walking. He hears something like under that sewer thing. I don't know what the fuck you call them. And eventually Sludge villain comes out. Of course, Pico's first instinct is to step back a couple of steps. He summons. No, he summons like a pistol, but like with a chain, with like a special type of bullet. Puts the bullets in, and he shoots at the sludge villain that just charged at him. Once the bullet makes direct contact, the sludge villain, a hole in it just exploded. And the sludge villain's thinking like, "Ow! What the fuck? This actually hurts. I haven't felt pain in years." 'Cause you know he's been sludge. Eventually, Pico makes another bullet like that. Shoots again. This time at his head, and boom. Sludge villain. It isn't dead, but like it's just like most of it is just smithereens. A chunk in its side, the chunk of its head. Of course, it can still move, but before anything does happen, all you can hear is All Might saying, never fear, because I am here. Texas Smash. I dream my All Might impression. Anyways, Sludge villain goes scattering everywhere, and All Might confronts Pico and asks him, "Young man, did the sludge villain do anything to you or hurt you?" Pico just replies with, "No." He doesn't fanboy over All Might. So almost not his favorite hero, but he knows All Might is the best hero. He calmly asks if All Might can sign his autograph, which he says he already did. Deluxe, and yeah, he already did. And All Might asks, does he have a bottle? Which Pico reaches in his bag, takes out a bottle of vodka, which All Might doesn't question. Now All Might jumps off, and this time Pico doesn't actually jump on his leg, because Pico has full faith that he can become a hero. Time skip. Goes home. He tells his mom about him meeting All Might, basically handling a sludge villain, and that's it. The whole accident with Bakugo getting captured by a sludge villain doesn't happen. Pico doesn't know the secrets of One for All. Shrivel All Might hasn't been seen yet, and boom, that's just going on. Sorry if I keep pausing. I'm just trying to think of what happens next. Cause I'm doing this all on the fly. Why? I don't know. I'm lazy. So time skip to the 10 months of training. Bakugo and Pico are doing their usual routines of working out each other, going in a fist fight, using their quirks occasionally. At this point, Bakugo is around Season 2 Bakugo, like mid Season 2 Bakugo in strength. Well, Pico is able to do like a lot of things. Well, Season 2 Bakugo and just like strength and quirk wise, boom. Pico, on the other hand, can just has the ability to I can't English. Like to change up how bullets can make them explode. But you just saw the sludge villain. Taser can control how dull a knife is, how sharp it is. Like even after he takes it out, like summons it. And currently he's been working on like a trick, making like something like a bigger weapon out of nowhere. At most, he's able to summon like a shotgun. Like a sawed-off shotgun is the biggest thing you can probably summon. So time skip to around like the second month of training, about to end. Then he's find this beach where he thinks him and Bakugo can go to and clean up, to get stronger. But when he's there checking it out, he sees All Might and a blonde kid there. After spying on them two for like a little bit, because what's All Might doing with a random child? he's able to hear some things to catch it up. Basically, he can hear that All Might's training the kid. Apparently, he's like a successor of something. And Pico basically just comes out and asks, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And this shocks both of them because they weren't expecting anyone to hear this. Then All Might recognized him like, "Oh, you're that kid who was handling the sludge villain until I came there." Yeah. What about it? Eventually, after talking for a bit, he explains that he's just training Mirio. Pico doesn't question it. He just chalks up to that, yeah, this might just be, rich kid, pays off, famous person to be trainer. So, Dagobah Beach won't be, like, cleaned up by Pico and Bakugo. They have, like, a different training area. Skip to the end, to the beginning of the entrance exams. Because I'm lazy, and I'm bad at what-ifs. Pico and Bakugo are there. They get to the gate. After insulting each other a little bit, just because yes, they finally go their own ways and make it into the testing area. Not the very important testing area. Pico doesn't trip or anything because, he's not a klutz or dumb. He's walking into here with confidence. So yeah, he doesn't meet Raka. Now in this, Pico's gonna be like really smart, cause in the actual Pico school, Pico was fucking smart, and Deku's already smart. So yeah, Pico wouldn't be the first one done, but except he'd actually be like the fifth one to be done, making an actual 87. He'd make an 87, while Bakugo would make an 80. So skip to the actual fighting, the physical portion. The same things happens with Ida, embarrassing himself in front of President Mike and everybody else by trying to confront President Mike about him missing something. Now, UA's prestigious, and this is a big mistake on his part. But Pico just says, "Oi, calm your ass down. He's gonna explain it. Just wait." Eventually, Ida retaliates with, "Who are you talking to, heathen? I'll have you know I'm part of the shut the fuck up and sit down." Eventually, Ida just does, because you're getting streamed at by Ginger Child, Ingy one at that. The president says, "Thank you, number 69, for that, even though, you shouldn't have said anything, especially something inappropriate." But as I was going to say, yes, the 0-pointer, aka the fourth robot, as number 420 was calling it, is absolutely worth this and worth 0 points. It's more of just an obstacle at that. I just recommend running away from it. Eventually, they get out there, and Bakugo and Pico just push each other's luck before going to their actual areas. When Pico gets to his, he sees a girl. He's a bit nervous. He tries to go up to the girl and calm her down a little bit, talk to her, but Ida, being Ida, stops him and says that he's trying to make her chance lower of getting into UA. Which Ida with Pico retaliates with, "No, fuck you, get out of my way." After a little bit of arguing between the two, Pico just pushes Ida out the way, goes up to the girl and talks to her. Learns that her name is Uraka, and her comforts her a bit and helps her tease, like tense, like loosen up a bit, be less tense. All we hear is 3, 2, 1 by Prez Mike, and once, actually, you know what? Cop that. Before he even says 3, Pico just starts running. And the first thing they see, just ginger kid running, pulls out a gun, and just blows up a fucking robot. And some people start complaining like, can he should be able to do that? That's not allowed. Oh, is he gonna get kicked out for that? The person like says, no, I like that kid. He's got the right idea. There's no real content in a real fight. Go, go, go! It leads to the actual physical starting to actually begin. Pico's taking out 3-pointers, 2-pointers, 1-pointers, left and right, collecting out from them all like a light. And at a point, he's surrounded by a 2-pointer and 2 3-pointers. And he summons a frying pan, gets out a Uzi, throws the frying pan up, just to, like, sprays the full clip at the frying pan, making the bullets reflect off to every robot, destroying them. Eventually, they actually like pay attention to him, like actually using weapons, which on the panels they do confront him about, in which he explains it's just his quirk. So skip around to almost like the end of it. Pico has around 116 points, because why the fuck not? Eventually, the 0-pointer stuff happens with everybody running away. Pico looking back, seeing what's going on, and saying that I'd probably get a lot of kudos if I destroyed that thing. Before when he starts walking up, he hears a girl screaming for help. It's the girl from earlier. His reaction is pull out. His reaction is to run up, try to get the boulders off the girls, which he can't. He pulls a Fortnite and just summons a pickaxe, and then starts breaking the rocks, which of course doesn't work. And the robot is almost here, the 0-pointer. So his reaction is to put all his energy into one big bazooka gun, right? Big missile, and fires it, which does work. It makes contact with the 0-pointer, right in like the red part in the middle, which I don't know what the red part is for, but I'm assuming that's where like the self-destruct button is inside, because why not? Plot convenience. And it just leads to a bigger explosion. So 0-pointer is destroyed, but downside, Pico just passes out. He wakes up in a hospital bed. He's by his mom, All Might, and the girl he saved, Uraka. He asks what's happened, and the nurse basically tells him that after he passed out, All Might came down, got the rocks off Uraka, and picked up Pico and took them to the nurse, to recovery lady. Uraka thanks Pico like non-stop for helping. All Might congrats him on getting a lot of points. Not really like he's currently at what rank, and actually being heroic during this. The nurse scolds him, recovery lady scolds him for being reckless. He doesn't care. His mom is just happy that he didn't get hurt. Well, that's all for this part. Hope you enjoyed, and please give me actual criticism, because this is like a first try, and I'm pretty sure I was pretty bad. Anyways, this is J Nams signing out.